start with Mr. Lee on the next question. If you had to pick one single issue that you have heard from the voters throughout the campaign season, what would you say the most important issue is and how you address it more effectively than your opponents?
Again, do you need me to answer that? Look, again, it's jobs. Like I said, I go out in the community and I see people and I see how they live. And I see what it's doing to us, the loss of our tax base, what it's doing to our schools, what it's doing to our towns. Our towns are dying. The second part of that question is I've already been working on that for a long time. It's what I do because I'm passionate about it. It's not just a campaign promise. It's not something just to get up here and get your vote. I'm passionate about putting people to work, excuse me, and I'm passionate about doing something for our small, dying communities. And that's what it's going to take, is passion. You can't just come out, make campaign promises, talk about issues, and then forget about it when election season's over with. I'm passionate about finding solutions for the problems that face you each and every day. Because those problems aren't going to go away. If you think we can stand up here and promise a whole bunch of stuff, there's empty promises. We've got to have some solution to be able to come through with some of these things. And the only way you can do that is through economic development. And I know. You're going to walk away here tonight and you're going to say, man, that guy's a one-issue guy. I promise I'm not. But I promise you I understand the importance of the economics involved here. And if we don't do something about it, we're going to all be destitute. Because it's not going to get any better. It's just going to continue to get worse. I'm a proactive guy. I've planned this. I'm going to work toward it. I want to give your children and grandchildren a future. Thank you.
David?
Well, as I've already referred to, the one thing that resounds again and again is that people want the government out of their lives. They're fed up. They want to throw all the bums out. And not just but they're mainly focused on Washington. The problem is we do a lot of the same things in Austin. And I haven't just said these things, but I have sought to shine a light on Austin. A lot of people like to leave in Austin what goes on in Austin. I've come back to you, the people here in this District 7, and I've told you the stories that go on. And it was through reporting that, and through Glenn Evans reporting on it, and publicizing it, that we finally have an honest clock in the Texas House. For a long time, we bore false witness when we convened, when we recessed, when we'd come back, saw the clock go backwards in time numerous times. But it's by shining a light on our legislative rules that we actually will limit government to its proper place. On the last day of the session, when a lot of people were simply getting ready to go home or congratulating their staff, the only thing you can do is make a technical correction to a bill. I stood up and raised a point of order when a bill came before the House, not as a spelling error or technical correction, but to expand corporate welfare for ESPN and for NASCAR. You don't always have to be in the majority. You have to have a knowledge of the rules, and you have to have a commitment to stand up, even if you have to do it alone. And we killed that expansion of corporate welfare. And I think that's probably one reason why so many people in the lobby, because a lobbyist asked me, who'd given me $10,000 to my campaign to withdraw that point of order, I didn't. They're scared of me because I'm shining a light in the House, and I want to do that in the Senate.
In Austin, a lot of different issues get discussed. Some are important, some are less important. Here in the real world, what I hear from people about more and more is the border, securing the border. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Again, we've known this has been a problem for a long time, and we've been reminded now it's not just about economics, it's not just about money, it's also about national security. And we've discussed some of these things at length. I won't repeat all that stuff. You know about the border security bill that Texas is doing, implementing right now. And let me give you just one more thing about that. We're doing this with the boats, with the aircraft, with the helicopters, with the cameras, with the sensors, with the troopers. We're doing this one sector at a time. Down in Starr County, how many of us been to Starr County? Anybody been to Rio Grande City? It's a nice place. It's the busiest illegal border crossing in the country, bar none. And so that's where DPS is starting to implement this plan, because if we can stop it there, we can stop it anywhere. And so we are seeing some results. So if the feds refuse to act, we're going to do our part. We're going to do more than our part if we have to. We talked about ending the magnets, things like education benefits, licenses, all these benefits we offer to people are a magnet to come here. And there's also another tool we have in the toolbox, and that is the border compact. Under the Constitution, states can enter into compacts. If we enter into a compact with other states, we don't even need the approval of the president. All we need is Congress to approve it, and we can go forward with our own border security plan, and we can ignore the feds. That bill went through the Senate. We were talking about the Senate being more conservative. The border compact went through the Senate, came to the House, but it required a special vote to bring it to the floor. And I'm the only one in this race who voted to bring that border compact bill to the floor. Again, we love each other. This is just a matter of record. That's what the votes are. That border compact is a bill that we need to get done. We need to try it again next session. Every tool that's available to us, we're going to have to use. And respectfully, we would ask you to look at each candidate's record on this very, very important issue. Thank you.
Can I come back to that, Art?
Excuse me?
May I have a minute to rebut that?
Sure.
I worked with Representative Schaefer on that border compact bill. I sought to move that bill forward. My colleague here knows that, but he's using it against me politically because in the last days there, which are fast and furious, 5 bills were set before the House. I was focused on one that Texans for Lawsuits Reform, East Texans for Lawsuit Reform was dead set against, Reuben Martin. I'd heard from other constituents. That's the only bill number I heard. And so I did not support that coming up. I regret that bill, the border compact, that the Senator Bob Hall authored in the Senate was moving forward. I support that. And that's just the rest of the story that you didn't hear. I also want to ask Mr. Hughes why he didn't support why he supported the budget without the $800 million when it went out of his committee and out of the House over to the Senate. That came in from the Senate, and he supported it without that.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yes, sir.
I would just like to point out that guaranteed 100%, I am the only guy up here that did not vote for anything that you would disapprove of. So there you go.